Good morning, dear children. As we already finished the chapter 4, that is My Life as a Pearl Diver, part 1. Now, today we will start the fifth chapter, My Life as a Pearl Diver, part 2. So, let's start. I shall now describe my second trip to the bottom of the sea. So, in the first part, we came to know that the pearl diver dived under the sea in search of the pearl. So, he said that I shall now describe my second trip to the bottom of the sea. This time, I had my joyride because I went down on a sinker with one hand and I had on to the rope, and with the other I caught another line which had a net bag, as you can see here in the picture, to hold my oyster shells. After I had scooped into the bag as many shells as I could, I gave a tug and um, up I went on the sinker. There were other divers too, and most of us held on to the rope up all the way up. However, there were a few excellent divers from the southern coast of India. They let go the rope halfway and swam up by themselves. So the pearl diver describes his second trip to the bottom of the sea as a joyride because this time he went down on a sinker and scooped as many oyster shells as he could without much difficulty. All right, and some of the excellent divers from the southern coast of India come up from the bottom of the sea, letting the rope go halfway and then swimming back to the surface of the water by themselves. So there were other divers too besides the narrator. Now let us continue with the third paragraph. The third time I went in, I was given a pair of goggles which did not allow a single drop of water to get into my eyes. That water really wonderful, for now I could look around as I descended. When I go down or dive down, descended. When I was actually on the floor of the sea, I could see the pale light of the sun. It was warm below and the floor was sandy. Strange looking plants with finger-like leaves kept swaying in the swimming water. There were weeds like ferns. It was a wonderful sight to see very strange fish swimming about in their brilliant colors through the weeds. So the pearl diver describes his third dive into the sea as really wonderful because this time he did not went down on a really okay, sinker, but had a pair of goggles. Okay, pair of goggles on the throw which he could see the pale of the sun. Okay, pale of the yellow color sun rays, okay, the yellow color light of the sun, and strange looking plants. He can see some like finger likes, okay, just like a finger shape, leaves like swaying, like move from one side to another, and shining water. And there were weeds like fern, and it was a wonderful sight to see very strange fish swimming about their brilliant colors through the weeds, and strange looking plants and fishes swimming and swimming. Oh, sorry, the shoes sing in their brilliant color. And the pearl divers saw not only the pale light of the sun but different types of plant, as I told you just now, different types of plants, leaves, weeds, and fishes in their brilliant colors moving under the water when he was actually on the floor of the ocean. Now let's continue. But I could not stay there very long. I had to do my job. I had to scoop up as many oyster shells as I could. These shells themselves are not pretty to look at, but they give the world one of the prettiest of jewels, the pearls. Do you know how a pearl is formed? All right, so the diver could not stay at the bottom of the sea for a very long time because he had to do his job of scooping, means to collect as many oyster shells as he could. And he asked us that, do you know how a pearl is formed? And he says, and he continue in next paragraph, it is said that the oyster at the bottom of the sea opens its shells off and on to let the sea water in. Sometimes a tiny speck, means sometimes tiny dot of sand or the egg of a fish gets into the shell along with the water and passes against its body. The poor oyster cannot throw it out and so covers it over with a fluid layer on layer, and the tiny speck is changed into a lovely pearl. Okay, so he says that these shells themselves are not pretty, okay, to look at, but they give to the world one of the prettiest of jewels, that is the pearl. And he described that the oyster at the bottom of the sea opens its shell off to let the sea water in, along with tiny speck of sand which passes against its body, and the poor oyster, unable to throw it out, and so cover it over with a fluid layer on layer and changing it into a lovely pearl. All right, let us continue. Pearl fishing is now a rapidly growing industry. Many foreigners come to our coast and engage themselves in this business. They have discovered the secret of making many descents without being worried. They were the first to use diving suits. These diving suits are rather heavy and awkward, and when we wear them, we cannot move about quickly as we can do when we dive naked. But the diving suits protect us if we are attacked by sharks and the shorefish. And the narrator says that pearl fishing has now become a rapidly growing industry because not only Arab people are involved in this business, but even many foreigners are engaged, and they have discovered the secret of making the sense without being worried. And diving suits are widely used in pearl fishing industries in spite of the fact that they are heavy and awkward because they protect the divers from the attacks of deadly sea monster. Okay, the last part is very interesting. Here he says that we pearl divers are also have our own laws. Okay, for example, he's just giving an example. For example, we cannot steal pearls from one another. Okay, they cannot steal pearl from one another. If they do so, they are found guilty, and we are thrown into the sea naked, means without diving suit, okay, and left to themselves to fight shark. Such is our life. Then at last he asked us, would you like to be a fur diver? So this story is adapted from I Am a Fur Diver, uh, written by taken from Raphael Tuck and Sons. So I hope all of you have written down the notes as I have sent before. So read all the question answer nicely so that you can prepare well for the exam, and mark or underline all the difficult word which is given in your book with your pencil, and write down in your copy, and send it to my personal WhatsApp number before 5 p.m. Thank you.